Hello and welcome to this session. In the previous session, we had worked with the aggregate functions of the MySQL and then we had just touched upon the numeric and the string functions. In this particular session, let us see the numeric, how the numeric functions works, what is the syntax that we can give, and then what are the various string functions those are available and how to work with the string functions. Apart from this, we can also see how the views are created in this session. So, let us start with the numeric functions. As I told you in the previous sessions, there are 4 numeric functions, those are upon which we can work in the using the SQL commands. One is to find out the absolute value. There is another function called as round, and then there is function called as truncate and mod. This mod function returns the remainder of the division. Let us see one by one what are the what is the syntax and what are the values that they return. Absolute value, it returns the absolute value of a number. Suppose if you want the absolute numerical value of any column that is present in the table. So, upon using this absolute value function, you can retrieve the absolute value or else you can display the absolute value. Let us see one example over here. All the examples you can see in the same query, like after looking into the absolute value, round value and the other values, truncate value and other things, we can see the query. This round value rounds a value to a specified precision. So, here in this particular syntax, you have to put round as the keyword and then you have to present the numeric value, and comma p is there wherein which you have to put the precision, up to which precision digit you want the precision value, that it needs to be specified. Then comes the truncate. So, truncate is nothing but truncate acts as a specified precision. So, here it will cut down, truncates the portion at will and it will present the value. Then there is another function called as mod function. So, it returns the remainder of the division. So, whenever we use the division function, it returns the quotient. Suppose if there may be an occasion wherein which you want to have the remainder as the return value. So, in order to get back the remainder as the return value, you have to use this mod function. So, you have to use 2 parameters in this particular mod function along with the mod function, mod m comma, there you have to treat it as m comma n, where m is divided by n and the remainder is displayed. Let us understand this with the help of a query. To display the individual line underscore price from the sales line table, rounded to 1 and 0 places and truncated where the quantity of tickets purchased on that line is greater than 2. So, this is the query, this is the question that we had got and we have to put it in the form of an SQL command. So, select line price, this is the field that we are working with, and then round. Here round functions are, one is rounded to 1 and 0 places. So, here I had used 2 round functions and then it is to be truncated where quantity is greater than 2. So, this is how you get the result. Select line price. So, we are selecting the line price over here. In the first one, after the truncated value, it is displaying the round off. 139.96 is rounded to 140 here in the first column, and then round off to 0. So, the previous 139, here 140.0 is there, and then here without decimal it is presenting. So, 140, 168 and then 168, 114, and then a truncated value, here we are truncating the decimal part and it is presented in this column under the heading truncated value. So, in this way you can work with the numeric value, the absolute value also you can find out, the truncated value you can find out, and the round off values you can find out. Then there are a set of string functions in order to work with the strings. Suppose if 2 columns are present over there, one is the first name and the other is the last name, in order to concatenate and then in order to present it as the full name of the employee, then you can use the concatenate function. There are 4 set of functions over here: concatenate, upper, lowercase, and then substring is another function, and to find the string length there is another function. Let us see one by one what is the syntax for each and every function. So, concatenate function, as I told you, it works upon 2 different columns and then it will combines and it returns back as a single value. So, here the syntax is concatenate string underscore value 1 and then string underscore value 2. So, both the string values are concatenated or else combined and is presented as a string value as a whole. Like this is an example where in which it illustrates the concat function. It lists all employee first and last names concatenated together. So, the first name here in the employee table, it is listed as one of the column and the last name is listed as the other column, and we are using here the concatenate function where in which we are clubbing or concatenating both the first name and the last name, and it is presented as the full name of the employee. So, in order to do that, select concatenate function, we are using employee underscore last name comma first name. So, both the strings are placed over here as name. So, the column that it needs to print as the full name is the name from employee. So, it displays the complete names of all the employees along with the first name and last name concatenated together. Then comes the change from uppercase to lowercase or lowercase to uppercase. So, we have to present the string over here within brackets of upper or within the brackets of lower, so that the string will be converted to uppercase or the lowercase. Suppose if you want the list of all employee names in capital letters and all first names in all lowercase letters. So, here the last name you want it in upper and the first name you want it in the lowercase. So, select concatenate. So, first of all we want to present it as a full name, last name plus first name. So, I am using the function concatenate, and within this I want to have the last name in uppercase and the first name in the lowercase. So, first of all the first name will be converted, if at all it is in the upper cases, it converts into the lowercase, and then this upper name the last name also will be converted into uppercase, and then both these like last name and the first names are being concatenated and are being presented under the column called as name. So, this is how the upper and lower case functions are used in MySQL. Then comes the substring. So, here suppose you have a string in one of the column, and if you want to only a part of the string, part of the given string, so you have to specify the start value or the start position and how many length of characters it needs to be displayed. Like suppose if organization is there as the value in one of the column. So, I want only 5 characters from O to N, ORGAN. So, I have to present the start position as O and the length of the characters as 5. So, the string will displace the part called as ORGAN. So, there is one example listed over here in order to list the first 3 characters of all employees first name. There is an employee table, and then here by using this SQL statement, employee phone along with the first name, only 3 characters of the first name of the employee will be displayed as the output. So, select emp underscore phone comma, I have to find out the substring, only the 3 characters as a first substring. So, employee underscore first f name is the source string that I am taking, and then start position is first position. So, I am mentioning 1 and the end position is the 3 position. So, only the 3 characters from the first name of all the employees will be displayed along with the phone numbers. Then another function that we can work with is the length. in order to find the string length. Suppose if the column is there and in order to find the and it is storing the string values, and in order to find the string values of the column you can use this particular length. So, it returns the number of characters in a string value. So, similar to these particular functions, there are a set of functions wherein which in C also supports, C language also supports. Here we had given one example. The following example lists all attraction names and the length of their names ordered descended by attraction name length. So, select attraction name, length attraction name. So, here we are finding the length as name size from attraction order by name size descending. So, all the lengths are found, and according to the name size or according to the attraction size, it is being displayed descending or in descending order. Then there are certain conversion functions also. In the conversion function, this allows, suppose if 10 is there, it can be interpreted as 10 a value, or else suppose if it is placed in the quotes, it can be interpreted as a constant. So, here the conversion also can be taken into consideration in MySQL, wherein which we can explain it with the help of an example. For example, MySQL automatically converts numbers to strings when needed and from strings to numbers. So, depending upon the context and depending upon the usage of the double quotes, it can be converted into either string or either the number, or else you can use a particular function called as cast function, C-A-S-T, so that you can convert the number to a string. Then you can see either like cast or concatenate function also can be used. Let us understand with the help of an example. Here select 10 plus within single quote we are giving 10. So, it will be understood as the number and the value 20 is displayed over here. You can see in the first query again is the command prompt MySQL select 10 plus within single quote we are putting 10. So, here the value added to 10 existing 10 and 20 is displayed. In the next case what I am doing is select 10, I am using cast 10 as char. So, this particular 10 is interpreted as a string. So, 10 as such is not, it is not identifying as a number, it is been casted to a character or else a string. So, you can see here select 10 comma cast operator we are using here, and then 10 as character. So, you can find 10 and then once again a 10. So, in this way you can use the conversion function using the CAST. Then another operator is there called as if null. This is a checking condition or checking function. It lets you substitute a value when a null value is encountered in the result of a query. Suppose if there are null values present in the columns, wherever the null value is there, it substitutes with the expression 2. So, that is how this if null function works. If expression 1 is not null, it returns expression 1, otherwise it found some null, it returns the expression 2. Both the things we are presenting over here. So, it is useful for avoiding errors caused by incorrect calculation when one of the arguments is null. So, let us see how it can be used. Then comes the select subquery. Subquery, as I told you in one of the earlier sessions, that suppose some nested queries are there, query within the query, or else some outer query is there, inside that there is some inner query. So, that particular query inside the main query is called as the subquery. So, whenever you have the nesting queries, first the subqueries executes and later on the main query execute. Let us find out with the help of an example over here. To find the prices of all tickets with a price less than or equal to the average ticket price. So, first of all what we have to find out? The average ticket price. So, this average ticket price from the ticket table needs to be found, and then a checking condition is placed over there. It should print all the prices of all the tickets with a price less than or equal to the average ticket price. So, first we find out the average ticket price, and then we will see which is less or which is equal, and then the above query executes. So, in order to fulfill this particular query, you have to give the command select ticket number and then ticket type, ticket price from ticket. This is the table that we are using, where ticket underscore price greater than or equal to or less than or equal to select average price from the ticket. So, this select statement whatever we are using within the parenthesis, this we are calling it as the subquery. So, this subquery will find out the average ticket price and later on executes with the outer query. So, in this way the subquery works. Then comes the views. So, in one of the sessions we were talking about the privileges to the users. So, depending upon the role or depending upon the designations in the organization, various privileges will be provided to the users. So, how the privileges are provided? So, privileges are nothing but, suppose if a table is there wherein which there are several columns existing, some 7 columns existing, and one of the column pertains to the pay, wherein which the pay will be set once in a year by the database administrator for all the employees, and the pay column should not be viewed or else should not be edited by the other users whoever are using those table. So, a view can be created by the database administrator wherein which whatever the field that concerned user needs to watch, only those fields will be displayed. So, it is not a physical table, view is a virtual table based on some query. So, we will filter and we will hide the other details, and this particular details whatever to be watched by the user with concerned rights only he will watch. So, the query may contain columns, computed columns, aliases and aggregate functions from one or more tables. Those are already stored in the databases. From those tables whatever are existing, we create the views. So, these are not physically existing tables, from those tables only we are creating the virtual table. This view as it is do not occupy any space on the physical storage. So, the tables on which the view is based are called base tables. Suppose if you are creating a view by using 3 different tables, some 3 fields from one table, 3 fields from other table and 2 fields from the third table. So, those tables whatever we are using as the source tables are called as the base tables, and the virtual table is called as the view table. Then this is the command that you have to give. You can create a view by using the create view command. Create view, view name, you have to put one name to the view as select query. So, here you can place the whole query. The create view statement is a DDL statement. Why? Because we are defining from the existing tables. So, it comes under data definition language commands. So, that stores the subquery specification, the select statement use it to generate the virtual table in the data dictionary. So, this view name, under this view name the whole data will be stored in the data dictionary as part of the data dictionary. Then to create a view of only those theme parks where tickets have been sold. So, that particular view we have to give it to the user. So, create view, view name is T parks sold, then you have to place the query. So, in the query part we are selecting all the columns in the theme park where exists. Once again we are placing a subquery, select park code from sales where sales dot park code is equal to theme park dot park code. So, here This is how we are selecting the subquery and the main query, and we are creating the views over here. And what are the tables we are using? We are using the theme park as well as the sales. So, both the sales and the theme parks are the base tables for this view creation, and the view name we had put is the T park S sold. So, this is the name we had given to the view. So, in the data dictionary, under this name the whole data, like data about the data, is stored. So, to display the contents of this view, you have to type the view name. So, we had kept the view name as T park S sold. So, in order to display the view on the monitor, you have to use select star from T parks sold. So, it displays the view. So, this is how it is been created. Create view transaction as sold as select star, this is how we had given the query. And then in order to see the view, what are the contents, you have to use the command called as describe. So, here the view table description is present over. One is, first field is park code, park name, park city, park country, and from two different tables we have derived this view table. So, the base two tables were, one is the sales and the other is the theme park. So, suppose if you see all the, if you want to see this particular view, the values, then just put the query with the name of the view table, that is the T park sold, select star from T park S sold. So, it displays the values. So, in this way you can create the views. Then comes the drop view. You had created the view and the privileges were granted to the user to work upon the views. Suppose if the no more this particular view is required by the user, you can drop the view also from the the view virtual table also from the exist. So, in order to drop the table, we used to give the command drop table. Likewise, in order to drop the view, you can give the command drop view and you have to put the name of the view T park as sold. So, this particular drop view command drops the virtual table or else virtual view. So, in this particular session, we had seen various string functions, various numeric functions, and how to create the views, how are views useful, and then how to drop the views. Hope you had understood this particular session, and then whatever the banking example that I had given on day 1 or else MySQL's part 1, you continue to work with that example, applying some of the numeric functions that we had discussed today and applying some of the string functions that we had discussed today, how to like find the string length, how to concatenate and other things, and also how to round off the values, how to truncate the values, how to find the min, how to find the maximum. These particular things we had seen, all those things you try to apply. And one more important thing that you have to do is try to create some views from the existing tables in the banking database, and also try to work how to drop the view also. So, hope you understood all the 5 sessions that we had discussed in this MySQL. Then continuing this is the relational database management system wherein which one can create the tables, works with the tables, and then create views and works with the views and drop the views. However, there are already ready-made packages like the database package that you are going to learn in further sessions, that is the WinAssist. So, that particular complete package right from the launch, right from the like downloading and then configuring that database onto the system and working with the database will be explained by Dr. Padasarathi. So, with this particular knowledge or with this particular background, you can work with the database part of the library sciences. So, we had started these sessions with the introduction to DBMS part, wherein which we had seen the preliminaries of the database management systems, and then we had seen the file organization systems, and then we had seen and we had worked with one of the relational database management system, and you will be working with the databases part, the ready-made databases part also, like the application package called as the Vinesis. So, with this I conclude the session. Thank you.